Friends, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very thankful to organizers that they could accommodate my request of rescheduling my what they call spotlight speech. I'm still unaware, of course, spotlights are there. What would that mean? I'll take you to a very different dimension, which is largely the developmental dimension of cyberspace. We, the governments and the people, are users of the developmental agenda which cyberspace could push. And it has to be developed collectively by all the participants and all the stakeholders who are responsible for securing the cyberspace. I hope that the current edition of CyFy would initiate several conversations, new and old, on complex issues of cyberspace. I can safely tell you that we have moved ahead from a single vertical of cybersecurity. I'll repeat it. We have moved ahead from a single vertical of cybersecurity to the multi-vertical security of cyberspace. To us, it's very important that cyberspace is not the only cat in the room. Sorry, cybersecurity is not the only cat in this room. There are many other verticals. We talk of legislation, law, we talk of startups, we talk of innovations, we talk of data, access, I mean, all kinds of things are there. And the most important for a developing country like India would be the inclusiveness of all these efforts and initiatives. We are a large country. We have a country which has got illiterate population as well, who do not know what is cyberspace, who do not know why their thumb impressions are being taken to make a payment. So therefore, there is a need for the developmental aspect of the cyberspace to build capacities, to make people aware of what they are into. I also hope that outcomes of this conference would be sharing of knowledge. All of you are experts. Enhancing common understanding, extremely important for us, and building consensus on possible policy options for meeting the current and future challenges of cyberspace. Cyberspace, as we all know, is a complex ecosystem that goes beyond our understanding of traditional domains of land, sea, and space. And its unique attributes present its own set of opportunities and challenges. This is very important when we try to understand the international law, the provisions of international law, and its applicability to cyberspace. The increasing use of information and communication technologies has not only generated social awareness, it has accelerated economic development, true in case of India, improved delivery of service, again, very, very much true in case of India, and placed unprecedented power and information at the hands of individuals, but also led to social and economic transformation of nations and changed the very way people communicate with each other and carry out their businesses. A very dynamic and evolving nature of cyberspace has brought cyber issues to the center stage of development polity, crime prevention, investigation, expansion of economy, and trade, and finally to the subject of national and international security. The fact that almost all activities, political, economic, social, and developmental, are now conducted in and connected to cyberspace has not only expedited the pace of growth, particularly in case of India, I would say, but also brought forth a new set of challenges for which no preset solutions exist. The lack of borders in cyberspace and anonymity of actors has ensured that the traditional concepts of sovereignty, jurisdiction, and privacy are challenged. The technological revolution has outpaced our collective capacities, and when I say our, I mean the global communities, to redefine our understanding of these issues, yet, and the global community, which has so far been too enamored by the benefits of cyberspace, is beginning to wake up to its threats. India is committed to the objective of having an open, safe, secure, inclusive, democratic, and dynamic cyberspace that responds swiftly to challenges and promote social, economic, and all-round development and prosperity of nations. The conference would have taken into account these varied aspects and challenges of cyberspace and take forward discussions around the theme of digital inclusion, cybersecurity, cyberspace as a tool for implementation of sustainable development goals, and promotion of cyber diplomacy to settle the complex questions of applicability of international law to cyberspace, norms of responsible behavior of states, and the likes. The debate on the challenges of cyberspace now occupies considerable space in global conversations on international security while differing perspectives of countries to meet these complex challenges has inserted a significant element of geopolitics into the issue. The growing significance of the cyber issues in international arena cannot be exaggerated. It is reflected in the growing conversations across the world at all high-level summits, conferences, and meetings between the heads of state and heads of the government. That there is barely a meeting between the heads of the government and heads of the state which goes without a discussion on cyber issues points to the growing penetration, significance, and criticality of internet to the social, economic, and cultural lives of the nations. The linking of devices and growing Internet of Things has made cyber issues a critical conversation in development politics. Moreover, even as the peaceful use of ICTs have fueled the expansion and growth of cyberspace, penetrating and connecting the lives of citizens across the globe, cyberspace has also been infiltrated by malicious actors, looking out for opportunities to exploit vulnerabilities. The unique characteristics of cyberspace, such as anonymity, borderless spaces, and speed, have helped these elements to carry out nefarious activities ranging from cyber attacks to spying, to data theft, to infringement of privacy, to extremist propaganda, to name a few. Crime syndicates and terrorist organizations now leverage malicious tools in cyberspace to carry out complex crimes, posing considerable challenges to law enforcement agencies, which are yet to evolve suitable tools and techniques to prevent and investigate such crimes. In our view, the law enforcement agency will tend to lag behind the technically competent cyber hackers and attackers and terrorists who are trying to destroy our societies. The disappearance of the traditional concepts of borders and the speed of proliferation of crime has heightened the need to enter into agreements and arrangements among countries for cooperation at various levels, both bilateral and multilateral. Further, as more and more developing countries take to digital space to carry out developmental activities, new mechanisms for international cooperation needs to evolve. As nations engage with each other at various bilateral and multilateral fora across the globe, one aspect stands out more than the rest, and that is that cyber issues is more than a discussion on cybersecurity. Cybercrime or internet governance or technical matters. It is a debate of livelihood. It is a debate of society. It's a debate of societal existence. Discussion on cyber issues are about cyber diplomacy. Yes, there are technical issues in it, but when it comes to the convergence of a standard international norms, standards, and views, cyber diplomacy will need to play a much heightened role to see the convergence globally. Otherwise, we'll remain fragmented, and the talks of fragmented internet will keep gaining momentum. The issues of sovereignty amongst the nations, data access, data jurisdiction, the growing threat of militarization of cyberspace, the need for confidence building to build trust amongst the nations and capacity building to bridge the digital divide, development of cyber weapons as well as the applicability of international law in cyberspace are issues which require concerted diplomatic attention. The multi-stakeholder approach is extremely important, and that is what we had identified for our own approach to the security of cyberspace as well. And it is required to resolve some of the issues which otherwise will only be limited to the discourses amongst the governments. And this is one of those occasions wherein the governments try to learn from your discourses, go back to the drawing board and see what could be done in order to take things forward at both domestic and international spaces. I wish that all the future debates which will be happening in CyFy would have a bearing on the livelihood of the people through security, through technologies, and through economic empowerment. Communities and nations not having enough capacities in both technology and human resources, and we have many of them, would remain most vulnerable link in securing the cyberspace. Further discussions on this subject needs to be taken to various parts of the world to develop a common understanding. I would like to applaud the initiative taken up by ORF along with the Tangiers region of Morocco to have organized CyFy Africa in May this year, that brought together many new players who would need to understand and participate in the international discourse in this particular respect. I'm sure that this and future editions of ORF CyFy events will take the conversations even further and forward while keeping developmental agenda in perspective. Before I end, I would like to express my gratitude to ORF and its associates for inviting me to share my thoughts on a subject of such an immense reach and importance. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.